Nevertheless, I just said to myself, hey, maybe they can amp it. Maybe they might choose to amp it up. Who knows? It's just so Hollywood for Kobe to go out like this. But then as the game waned and I saw them defending him and he got hot, baseline jump shots, three-pointers, driving to the basket, getting fouled, going to the free throw line, hitting pull-up jumpers, with a slight fall away from here and there. You just got to a point where it just looked special. And then the fourth quarter arrived, outscoring the entire team 23-21, hitting 7 of 13 shots, all 5 of his shots, all 4 of his free throws, plus a three-pointer. It was nothing short of sensational and surreal. I was shocked. I didn't expect to see that. I was talking to Jay-Z after the game. He said that Kobe came up to him at halftime. Jay-Z told him, I flew from Tampa just for you. I flew from Tampa just for you. And Kobe looked at him and said, I guess that means I got to get 40 for you. And Shaq came into the game, or came into the arena, Skip, right around the time, right after the game, right after the tip-off had started, just a few minutes later. And he came up behind me. He told me I'm going to challenge Kobe to drop. He could find that kind of flow. And he walked out there at his seat courtside, and he told Kobe just that. And Kobe was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to go for it. And, just speaking to Kobe after the game, he was relieved it's all over and what have you. He didn't expect this to happen, but it was something special on so many levels. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And, you got the 81-point performance. You got the 62-point performance in 3 quarters against Dallas. You got the 21-point performance in the 4th quarter in another game against Dallas. You got the performance in the NBA Finals when Shaq went down against Indiana in Game 5. All of those things obviously count significantly more than last night. But in terms of pure memories, I think that this may very well top the list. I don't think anybody will forget this night in the career of Kobe Bryant or in the annals of NBA lore forever. I don't think anybody will ever forget what I saw last night in person, what everybody saw.
I agree. This game for me, again, just watching it from my couch, was so moving on so out. I felt like I was going way out on the limb to say, I see Kobe scoring 40 tonight on 30 shots. One sensational last hurrah, Kobe. Wait a second. 60 on 50 shots? It was so Kobe to me to leave us with the ultimate Kobe wow game on his final night. Because I got to tell you, Stephen A., for me, last night eclipsed the 81-point game because of degree of difficulty in that. How many times have I sat here this year and told you I can't watch him anymore because he's literally on his last legs, and he was, for much of this year, a pathetic shell of himself. So to see Kobe last night take it back up to Kobe-esque levels. I mean, how about this? How about Jordan-esque levels? Because he did score, I thought it was fitting, 23 in the 4th quarter. Jordan-esque 23. I was just knocked. I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't believe it because he shot to pieces all those painful memories that I had to be stuck with all year. I told you I quit watching him because I didn't want to remember him that way, because I was forgetting. My mind was getting clouded about his greatness. And all of a sudden, he shattered he shot them to pieces, the painful memories, and left me with nothing but greatness last night because he was willing in 3-point shots and long 2-point jumpers, fall-away jumpers, vintage Kobe jumpers, under pressure. And I think you can attest to this, Mr. Smith. That was huge pressure on him last night. The world was there. You were there. When you're there, we know it counts. And the world was watching. Everybody wanted Kobe to shoot it every time and make it every time. And as you point out, he was scared. I mean, nervous scared. The first 5 shots, he just looked a little out. Who wouldn't be? What human wouldn't be under that kind of pressure at his age, given what he hadn't been able to do all year? You missed 5 straight shots, and then I thought the toughest shot he made was his first one. Remember that little baseline? You know how tough that little 8-foot shot is from the baseline? Shot it way up in the air and swished it straight on down the baseline. And from there, it just erupted. And I got your point. I'm with you about the Jazz. It's like harmonic convergence that they lost. I mean, they were eliminated when Houston won early. And Did they play the hardest defense? Rudy Gobert didn't play, who's their big shot blocker. I got that, but I don't care today about that. I read where 9 different Utah Jazz players took Kobe for at least one possession, because I think they're all saying, I want him, because they want to tell their grandkids, I covered Kobe in his last game at Staples. And again, were they trying their rears off? No, I don't think they were. They made it look good. They got their hands up. He had a hand in his face most of these shots. He got to the rim fairly easily a few times. But still, for Kobe to leave us with the vintage memory, and again, I'm going to be objective about this, it was everything I love and don't love about Kobe last night, because it was vintage, no conscience gunning that I love about him. I wanted him to shoot it Stephen A., that was a career high 50 attempts. That was by far the most attempts in the league this year.
Fourth most in history.
No, he became the 4th player.
The fourth player.
The fourth player to attempt 50 plus. Like Wilt had several 60s, I think, but that was back in the day when it was all different. But we know he was chucking, and who cares? Who cares? We wanted to see it, and he was making more than he usually makes. So again, I want to thank Kobe Bryant for leaving me with one last vintage memory that erased everything I couldn't watch this year. Your thoughts?
I can't put it any better than that, Skip. I mean, listen, I wanted him to retire this season. I didn't want him to go through this. It was something that, having a conversation with Jeannie Buss before the game, it was something I reminded her of last night about how I wish he had retired and not played this season because of how pathetic this season has been. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them in the future. But everybody associated with the Lakers organization were lamenting how difficult this season has been, because he's the consummate winner, the consummate professional in terms of going all out and putting forth your best effort with one purpose and one purpose only in mind, and that's to win while being great at the same time. And so I just looked at last night, thinking about how many times I've watched this guy have his shoulders wrapped, the ace bandages, bulky as they can be, wrapping both knees. His trainer, Gary Vitti, who's been there all of these years, you were retiring with him and what have you. It was just a special moment. Great speech by Magic Johnson prior to the game to introduce Kobe Bryant. Shaq coming into the arena. I knew he'd show up. There was no way on earth I thought that he was going to miss it, him being in attendance. I had the pleasure of speaking with Jack before the game as well. He was talking about how thankful he was and how he had to beat it, even though he's going to show up to the Lakers game because that's just what he does. He had to be here for a moment like this because of what Kobe has meant to this organization. He's meant so much to the Lakers. He's meant so much to the game of basketball. And when you close your career with a moment like that, you epitomize why you have been so important. It was the MJ era. This was the Kobe era, because essentially Kobe proved last night why he was widely recognized as the extension of the MJ era, so to speak. Because he had that kind of mentality, that kind of focus, that kind of dedication, that kind of heartlessness when it came to not just beating a competitor, but demoralizing them. And to remind us of that at age 37, literally on his last leg, literally on the last night of his career, to put forth a performance like that, it was nothing short of special, man. Surreal. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable to be a part of it. It's one of the greatest moments of my career to be in attendance to watch something
like that. Was it good? Glad to hear you say that. And what also meant a lot to me was that the great Jack Nicholson actually submitted to an interview during the game, and that just capped it off as special, because it's like getting an audience with the Pope, man. I mean, you just don't. And he knew it was a night that he could speak about Kobe Bryant, and so he gave ESPN Lisa the interview. And I think they had to fight off the security guards, it looked like, to be able to get through the interview, but they did. So thank you, Jack Nicholson, for doing that.
And I don't know if you guys heard Kobe, but I love this right at the end when he said that his daughter was like, wow, Dad, I couldn't believe you had that kind of game. Like, she'd never seen it because you were young. And then, Kobe's joking, I used to do a lot of that. But it was cute to see that, and he was really happy that his daughters got to see him have that kind of performance as well.
And then how cool was it at the very end? I don't know where you were running around, Stephen A., but as he addressed the crowd, Kobe, and then to say Mamba out and just literally drop the mic. Literally drop the mic and walk off. Beautiful.
Yep. It's still trending on Twitter right now.
Well, it was. It was special.
San Francisco Chronicle's cover this morning simply reads, best ever. Last night, the Warriors crushed the Grizzlies for win number 73 on the season, surpassing the 72 victories by the Bulls in the 95-96 season. And apparently, we have an oracle at the desk. No, it's not me. I know I got the Super Bowl Peyton thing right. It was actually Skip this time, who tweeted this. Someone at this desk stalked his Twitter and remembered this tweet. If stars stay healthy, Warriors go 73-9. Here's Steve Kerr after last night's win.
It's a great way to finish off what was an amazing regular season. I just told our guys I'd never in a million years would have guessed that that record would ever be broken. I thought it was like DiMaggio's hit streak, really. And I was wrong, but I will say the same thing now that I said 20 years ago. I don't think this will ever be broken. Somebody's got to go 74-8. I don't see it, and I hope our fans aren't expecting that next year.
So I told you, Skip tweeted, if the stars stay healthy, the Warriors go 73-9. Yeah, he tweeted that in November. Also of note last night, Steph Curry hit 10 threes, making his total for the regular season 402. That's 116 more than his NBA record last season, Skip. So what was more impressive, Steph's season or the Warriors' 73 wins?
Stephen A., to me, and I'm going to guess you're going to disagree, but I don't know, but I think that Steph's overall season was slightly more impressive than even the teams winning 73 games. And I realize there are those in the Warriors organization who vehemently disagree with my premise that as Steph goes, they go, because I hear, oh, but we have Clay and we have Draymond and we have a great coach and a great organization and great depth, and I get all that, and it's all true. But you also have Steph Curry, and without his magic, and I don't know how else to phrase it or put it in perspective, it's just sheer magic what he's doing and what he has done all year. He should be the most improved NBA player coming off his MVP last year because he took it up 5 notches from where he was a year ago. I told you this, Stephen A., about 3 weeks ago. I think Steph Curry just played the greatest single season we have ever seen any NBA player have. You can give me Michael's greatest season or Magic's or Wilt's or Oscar's. Throw them all out there. I'll put this one up against it. And it fueled the 73 wins. Where would this team be without Steph Curry? To me, they would just be an also-ran. I'm sorry, as talented as the other guys are, this guy just gave us a revolutionary season because this guy, as Molly pointed out, last night made his 402nd three-point shot, breaking his record by 116 set last year. That's crazy. He made 45% of his threes, and we all know he's taken them from out near half court. He was just a tick below J.J. Redick, who led the league in three-point percentage. And then let's go to, he led the league in scoring at 30.1 while shooting 50% from the field. That's unheard of. It's impossible. Steph Curry led the league in free throw percentage at 91%. Steph Curry led the league in steals at 2.1 per game. Led the league in steals. Steph Curry shot 50% from the field. How many times do I can't drive that home enough because he became as deadly a two-point shooter as a three-point shooter. And as my Spurs will be the first to attest, if you go out and try to get in his grill at the three-point line with 2 people, he will duck under you. You've talked about his handle. I'm not saying it's the greatest handle ever. Spurs couldn't stop him. He just dribbled between 2 Spurs and go right in the lane and make another trick shot off the glass. So to me, this whole year was the greatest single season, which fueled and propelled 73 wins. I give it up to Steph Curry, man. Be my guest.
Well, I would hate to disagree with you, And I'm not going to, because I think you're absolutely right. I'm not going to take anything away from the greatness, the collective effort of the Golden State Warriors. I think Draymond Green, I think that he deserves Defensive Player of the Year this year, Skip Bayless.
Yep.
He would get my vote. Plus, offensively, recording as many triple-doubles. I think it's like 13 or 14 triple-doubles that he's done this year. The way he's passed the ball, the way he's rebounded, the way he's